Afghanistan, well, you might want to get out that paddle, because Pennsylvania Congressman Joe Sestak says that he should send the troops, but have an exit strategy. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And what do you mean by exit strategy? Because a lot of critics would say, well, that's just giving the enemy a timeline.
Absolutely not. What an exit strategy means is that you always do a cost and a benefit analysis as you execute your strategy. You have benchmarks by which you measure it. And if it's successful, then you have a successful exit strategy. If you're measuring it and you're failing, then it means change the strategy to an alternative. Mm-hmm. For example, we may have to redeploy if we find the cost is more than the benefit, and have an alternative, probably less effective containment strategy by which we would watch with satellites and try to intercept al-Qaeda as they move around. The key here is, and I was on the ground early in this war as head of the Navy's anti-terrorism unit, that it's no longer about Afghanistan. It's about Pakistan and the al-Qaeda that have moved all of them to that area and have a safe haven. I hope to hear tonight that the President will say that's our focus. Second, that we leave behind Afghanistan not as a nation rebuilt, but as a place that will be less hospitable to al-Qaeda ever coming back. And third, that there is a strategy that is triggered, an exit, if we're successful, or triggered an alternative strategy where we will exit and do a less costly approach. But I believe today, the consequences, the cost of not doing it now and getting the al-Qaeda that planned 9/11 against us could be much greater 4 to 5 years from now if they're successful in their planning.
You know, this is so cyclical, though, because I think a lot of leaders thought we had this problem partially licked, for lack of a better word. So how do you make this country less hospitable to the Taliban?
We did have it licked. When I was on the ground there in Afghanistan, I saw how successful we were with our psychological operations, our special forces, and our civil affairs forces, giving an edifice of security by which the elements of education and economy could begin to grow society. Then we went to Iraq. We took those forces out. We took our attention away, and it spiraled downward, as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said. But today, there's only 20,000 Taliban in Afghanistan. 70% of them are there for a wage. They're not there because of ideology. There's 25,000 in Pakistan, and only several hundred of al-Qaeda. Working closely with Pakistan, having them do what they must on their side of the border as we handle the other side, and then leaving behind some economic ability for the warlords, for the chieftains to buy into, can bode success. Remember when Russia went in the Soviet Union? They killed 1 million Afghanis. And that gave rise to an insurrection of 250,000 against the Soviet Union. We have a different take, and the nation wants us there.
Do they?
Yes.
Do they really?
Yes. When you go around and you have talked to these, and I went back on the ground again after I had my carrier battle when we'd done the retaliatory strikes, the individual people want stability. Taliban might have given them stability, but they gave them a horrible life. They know Americans are going to do this well. That's why you have a counterinsurgency effort now, not counterterrorism. Counterinsurgency means you try to win their hearts and minds with a secure edifice. But yes, the individual citizen does. But that doesn't mean we want to stay there. We must exit upon success. And I believe this strategy by this president has to be done.
We'll be watching tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative.